The village of Darrow's End sat quietly between a forest and a mountain. It was small, peaceful, and far from the ruins of the old world. After the Great Collapse, people stopped trusting machines. They lived by fire, farming, and faith. Most didn't even know what the stars once meant. But Evan remembered stories. He was only 22, tall, with messy brown hair and a curious heart. His grandfather once worked with machines before the world fell. Evan learned from him about gears, wires, and signals. He didn't fear the old tech like the others. Evan lived at the edge of the village, close to the forest. People thought he was strange. He built odd things, fixed broken windmills, and once even repaired a radio tower. The village priest warned others, too much knowledge leads to pride, and pride led to the fall. Evan didn't argue. He just smiled and kept to himself. One cold morning, while gathering herbs near the forest, Evan saw something strange. There, near a stream, stood a girl, alone, barefoot, and glowing faintly in the shade. She was tall, taller than most women, with silver-white hair and pale skin. Her eyes were like gold, shining even in the fog. Her clothes were torn and unlike anything Evan had seen. They shimmered, like liquid metal, but hung loose and damaged. She turned when she heard him. "Please," she said softly, "don't be afraid." Evan didn't move. He stared, wide-eyed, heart beating fast. She looked otherworldly. "You're not from here," Evan whispered. The girl looked down. "No, I'm not." Evan helped her walk. She was weak, barely standing. He led her to an old war shelter hidden behind vines, a forgotten place with stone walls and rusted doors. It still had working lights powered by solar cells. She sat inside, shaking. "My name is Evan," he said, offering water. She hesitated, then drank. "I'm Viola." "That's a beautiful name," Evan said gently. "Where are you from?" Viola paused. "Far. Too far to explain." He nodded. "You're not human, are you?" She looked into his eyes. "No, I am not. But I mean no harm." Evan believed her. For the next few days, Evan cared for Vela in secret. He brought her food, blankets, and tools. She said little, but sometimes she spoke in strange languages when she slept. Her wounds healed fast, faster than any human. Her body was stronger, too. Her skin shimmered faintly under light, and her veins glowed blue at night. She carried a small device. A communicator, maybe. It was broken, sparking softly. Evan offered to fix it. Viola was surprised, but nodded. "I didn't think you're kind. Still understood machines," she said. "Most don't," Evan replied. "But my grandfather taught me." She looked at him like he was something rare. "Then maybe there is hope." Back in the village, people started whispering. Some said, "The woods felt strange lately. Animals had vanished." The priest warned that old spirits walked again. One hunter claimed he saw a ghost woman near the stream, hair like snow, eyes like gold. "She cursed my traps," he cried. "Nothing lives near her. She's a witch." The village grew restless. Fires were lit at night. Charms were hung on doors. The priest led prayers every morning. Evan listened quietly. He didn't speak of Viola, but he knew time was running out. One evening, as he soldered broken circuits, Evan asked, "Vela, why are you here?" Viola sat quietly, her golden eyes far away. "My ship was attacked. Rebels from my homeworld. I escaped, but they followed. I used a jump drive, but it failed. I crashed here." She pointed to the communicator. "If I can fix this, I can call for help." "Are they looking for you?" "Yes, I am important." "How important?" Vela hesitated, then whispered, "I'm a princess, heir to a star empire. Or I was before the coup." Evan stared. He didn't laugh. He didn't doubt her. Instead, he said, "Then we'd better fix this fast." The next day, 2 boys from the village spotted Evan carrying tools into the woods. They followed him, quiet as shadows. They saw nothing, but one found a shiny piece of metal on the ground near the old shelter. He took it back and showed the priest. "This is not from Earth," the priest muttered. "He's hiding something." The villagers gathered that night. The priest stood before the fire and raised the metal. "This is proof. The witch is real, and Evan, our own, helps her." Gasps filled the crowd. "We must act," the priest continued, "before darkness spreads." And the people shouted, "Burn the witch! Burn the witch!" Evan woke to banging on his door. 3 men stood outside. "You're coming with us!" They dragged him to the village square. The crowd was already there. Torches burned. The priest held the metal in one hand and a holy book in the other. "You have lied to us, Evan," he said. "You brought evil to our home." "I did no such thing," Evan said calmly. "You protect her," someone shouted. "She's not a witch," Evan shouted back. "She's not even from this world." The crowd went silent. The priest narrowed his eyes. "Then she is a demon." "She's a person," Evan yelled. "She's scared, hurt, and needs help." "She is not one of us," the priest said coldly. "Exactly," Evan replied. "She's better than us." That was the wrong thing to say. They threw Evan into the old jailhouse, cold, dark, and forgotten. He sat alone, fists clenched. Back in the shelter, Viola heard the shouts echoing through the trees. She saw the torches in the distance. She limped to the communicator. It was almost fixed, thanks to Evan. She pressed the last button, and a soft hum filled the air. "Emergency beacon activated," the voice said in her language. Viola closed her eyes. She prayed someone was listening. Then she grabbed a small energy blade from her broken gear. She would not be taken easily. In the jail, Evan heard footsteps. An old man came with a lantern. It was old Rame, the village's oldest survivor. He rarely spoke. "I knew your grandfather," Rame said softly. "He fixed the tower, sent messages to the stars." "I know," Evan said. "He tried to warn people." "He did," Rime nodded. "But they didn't listen." "Will they kill her?" Evan asked. Rime looked down. "If they catch her, yes." "She doesn't deserve this," Evan said. Rame sighed. "Neither did your grandfather, or the people who built the stars." Evan stood up. "Then help me stop them." Rame gave a sad smile. "You really are your grandfather's boy." He took out a small key. The old jail door creaked open slowly. Evan looked up. Old Rime stood with a lamp in one hand and a small iron key in the other. "I shouldn't do this," Rime whispered, "but the truth must live." Evan stepped out, rubbing his wrists. "Thank you. Go, before they start searching the woods." Evan didn't wait. He slipped into the night, heart pounding, feet fast. Torches still burned near the center of the village, but the path to the forest was clear. He reached the edge, then ducked into the thick trees. The wind whispered through the leaves like warning voices. He didn't care. He had to get to Viola. Deep inside the hidden shelter, Viola crouched near the rusted wall. Her golden eyes stared at the door. Her energy blade glowed faintly in her hand, low on power, but still sharp. She had heard the shouts. She had seen the flames. They would come for her soon. She looked down at the communicator. The beacon had been sent, but there was no answer yet. Perhaps the signal was too weak. Perhaps no one was left to hear it, or worse, maybe the rebels heard it first. Her body trembled with fear and anger. She had survived war, betrayal, and a crash from orbit. But this village of terrified humans might be her end. The door creaked. Viola turned quickly, blade raised, but it was only Evan. She lowered the weapon. "You escaped." "Old Rime helped me." She stared at him. "Why?" "Because he believes the truth," Evan said. And so do I. Evan handed her a small box of tools and a water flask. They'll be looking for you. We don't have much time. I finished the beacon, she said softly. But I don't know if it reached anyone. We'll prepare to move, Evan said. There's an old tunnel under the shelter. It leads to the hills. I can open it. Viola looked at him carefully. Why are you helping me? Evan paused. Because you're not what they say you are. You're not evil. You're not a witch. You're lost and alone. Vela smiled weakly. I was raised to lead worlds, but here I can't even save myself. You're not alone anymore, Evan said. I won't let them burn you. As Evan worked on the tunnel door, Viola sat beside him and spoke. In my world, she began, I was meant to unite two empires. My marriage would bring peace, but others wanted war. They ambushed my family, took the capital, and declared me dead. She looked at her glowing hands. I escaped in a ship meant for two. My guardian died. Protecting me, I jumped across space and crashed here. Your royalty? Evan asked. She nodded. Yes, a princess. Though now I'm a fugitive. You still matter, Evan said. Earth may be forgotten, but we still remember hope. Vela looked into his eyes. You speak like a star-born. My grandfather used to say, the stars never stop shining. We just stopped looking up. Viola touched the side of his face gently. Your world lost its place in the galaxy, but you haven't lost your heart. Back in the village, things were changing. Not all believed the priest's words anymore. Some villagers remembered when Evan fixed the water pump, saved the crops, and helped the sick. They started asking questions. What if he's telling the truth? What if she's not a witch? The priest saw doubt growing like rot. He called a council meeting in the church hall. We must find the witch and the boy, he said. Tonight, before more fall under her spell. Are we sure she's dangerous? Asked a farmer. The priest slammed his staff. She's not human. That's danger enough. But many eyes avoided his. Doubt had entered their hearts. Evan opened. The old tunnel door. Dust filled the air. Metal stairs led deep underground. The path was dark and narrow. We'll leave at nightfall, he said. The tunnel comes out near the river cliffs. They won't find us there. Viola nodded. Thank you. Evan paused. If your people come, will they help Earth? Vela looked at him. I don't know. Many in the galaxy think Earth is dead, lost to war and madness. If I survive, maybe I can change that. I want to see the stars one day, Evan said. Vela smiled. Then I'll take you. That evening, as they prepared to leave, a beep echoed from the communicator. Vela grabbed it quickly. The screen lit up. A message in her language scrolled. Across. Signal received. Stand by. Coordinates locked. Extraction unit en route. Her breath caught in her throat. They heard me, she whispered. Who? Evan asked. My people, Vela said. Loyal ones. They're coming. She looked at the stars through a crack in the shelter roof. I'm going home. Evan smiled. That's good. But deep inside, he wondered what that meant. For her, and for him. Just as they were about to enter the tunnel, a sound stopped them. Voices, footsteps, torches. The villagers had come. They're here, Evan said. Vela raised her blade, but Evan stopped her. No, I'll talk to them. Evan, if you fight, they'll never believe you're peaceful. He stepped outside. The crowd stood a few meters away. Torches lit their angry faces. The priest stood at the front. Give us the witch, Evan, he shouted. She's not a witch, Evan yelled back. She's a person, a princess from another world. You're under her spell, someone shouted. I'm not, Evan stepped forward. She's scared, alone, and injured, and still, she hasn't hurt a single one of you. Lies, the priest screamed. She brings ruin. She brought nothing, Evan shouted. We're the ones with torches and hate. She just wants to go home. The villagers hesitated. Then, old Rame stepped forward. "He speaks truth." Gasps spread through the crowd. "I saw her," Rame said. "She's not evil. She's just different." Like Evan's grandfather said, one day stars would return to Earth. "You're both mad," the priest hissed. "No," Reem said calmly. "You're just afraid of what you don't understand." Suddenly, a loud hum filled the air. Everyone looked up. Above the trees, a light appeared, bright, silver blue, and growing larger. It wasn't fire. It wasn't lightning. It was a ship, sleek, silent, and massive. It hovered just above the clearing. Wind whipped around them. Dust flew into eyes. The torches went out. From the ship, a beam of light shot down. A group of figures appeared, tall, armored, glowing with golden lines. They stepped forward and kneeled. "Princess Vela," the lead one said in a deep voice, "we have come for you." The villagers were frozen. Some dropped to their knees. Others ran. Vila stepped out of the shadows. She stood tall. Her silver hair blew in the wind. Her voice was calm. "I am Princess Vela of House Syrinx. I thank you for finding me." She looked at the villagers. "I hold no anger. You did what fear told you to do. But now, fear must end." She turned to Evan. "Come with me." Evan looked around at the stunned villagers. He could leave, see the stars, be part of something greater. But this was his home, his people. He looked at Vela. "I can't. Not yet." Her eyes were sad, but she nodded. "I will return," she said. "This world will not be forgotten." She leaned forward and kissed his forehead. Then, with a final smile, she stepped into the beam. And just like that, she was gone. The villagers stood in silence. The ship vanished into the sky like a dream. No one spoke. The priest dropped his staff. And Evan? He looked up at the stars, and for the first time in his life, he didn't feel alone. The sky over Darrow's End was quiet again. The ship had vanished. The stars had returned to their stillness. The villagers stood in the open field, too stunned to move, too confused to speak. Evan stood among them, heart pounding, mind racing. He had just watched an alien princess vanish into the sky. He had seen armored beings kneel before her. He had heard her speak like a queen. She had called him to the stars, and he had said no. The next morning, the village felt different. No one shouted. No one blamed. They walked slowly, eyes low, voices hushed. The fire of hate had burned too bright, and now it had gone cold. The priest stayed inside the chapel. He didn't speak at the morning prayer. No bells rang. Old Rame sat in the square, whittling wood like always. But people watched him now with quiet respect. After all, he had spoken the truth before anyone else dared. Evan walked through the village. Some people nodded at him. Others looked away in shame. No one said, "You're cursed." No one called him strange, but no one said, "Thank you," either. At his home on the edge of the forest, Evan sat alone. He looked at the communicator. Vila had left behind. A small silver device with a cracked screen and soft glow. It no longer sent signals. The beacon had done its job. Still, Evan kept it close. He remembered her words. "I will return." He wanted to believe them. That night, a soft knock came at his door. He opened it to find old Rime standing there, holding a bottle of honey wine. "I thought you could use this," the old man said. Evan nodded and let him in. They sat near the fireplace, the glow warming the cold room. "She was something, wasn't she?" Rime said. "Yeah," Evan whispered. "More than we ever imagined." Rime sipped the wine. "You know, back when I was a boy, they said humans once traveled the stars. Now we barely travel past the river." "We forgot who we were," Evan replied. Rime nodded. But maybe she reminded us. A week passed, then 2. The villagers returned to their routines, planting, weaving, fixing roofs before winter, but something had changed. Some asked Evan about machines, others helped him repair the old water pump. For the first time in years, they listened when he spoke. Yet something darker also stirred. One evening, the chapel bell rang. It had not rung since the night Vela disappeared. People gathered slowly in the square, unsure what to expect. The priest stood at the top of the steps, his robes torn, eyes sunken. "This is not over," he said. "What we saw was a test." The crowd murmured. "That creature bewitched us," he continued. "She made us doubt our faith, doubt our laws. But fire cleanses. Fire saves." Someone shouted, "But she was peaceful. She had an army," the priest snapped. "She brought ships, warriors. We bowed before them like slaves." The people fell silent. "Evan still has her machine," the priest said, pointing. "He still speaks her name. What if she comes back with more, with weapons?" Evan stepped forward. "She's not our enemy. You don't know that." The priest yelled. "I do," Evan said louder. "She came with peace, and we tried to burn her." The priest raised his arms. "You still protect her. Then perhaps it is you who needs to burn." Gasps echoed. Evan felt the eyes of the crowd. Not again. Later that night, Evan's house burned. He escaped just in time, carrying the communicator in his arms. Flames swallowed the walls, the tools, the memories. Villagers ran to help, but it was too late. Evan knew who had done it. The priest stood nearby, watching. He said nothing, just turned and walked away. Evan slept in Ram's shed that night. "Fear is a deep poison," Ram said. "Hard to cure, harder to pull out." "They'll never forgive her," Evan said. "And now they hate me too." "You stood for truth," Ram replied. "Sometimes that's enough." Evan looked at the stars through the open roof. "She won't come back." "Maybe she already has," Ram said. "What do you mean?" "People are learning," Ram said. "Not all, but some. You'll see." The next day, 3 children came to Evan with a broken toy. A small spinning top made. "From old gears. Can you fix it?" one asked. Evan smiled and nodded. Then a woman brought a broken wind chime. A man asked about building a new water mill. Little by little, the village returned. But the priest had other plans. He went deep into the old mine caves, places sealed since the collapse. There he uncovered something hidden long ago, a black box, marked with strange warnings. Old world tech. He carried it back to the chapel and opened it. Inside was a weapon, small, sleek, deadly. He smiled. "If the witch returns," he said to himself, "we'll be ready." One night the stars moved. At first, people thought it was a comet, a streak of light cutting across the sky. Then they saw it slow down and stop. A ship, larger than before. It hovered above the mountains, silent and silver, glowing like the moon. People panicked. The priest rang the bell again. "They're back!" he shouted. "Hide your children! They bring fire!" Evan ran to the square. "No, don't run! This is our chance to talk, to learn!" But the people were too afraid. They grabbed old weapons, sticks, tools, even rocks. The priest stood with the black weapon in hand, hidden under his cloak. A bright beam of light came down from the ship, this time farther from the village. Near the river cliffs, Evan ran toward it. He reached the edge of the field just as the light faded, and Vila stepped out. She looked the same, yet stronger. Her armor was shining, her eyes calm. She smiled when she saw him. "Evan," she said softly. "You came back," he breathed. "I said I would." They embraced. Her guards stayed back, watching with golden eyes. "I brought a gift," Vela said. "A treaty. From my people. For Earth." Evan looked surprised. "For Earth?" Yes, she nodded. We thought your kind was lost. But you're still here. Still strong. We're scared, Evan admitted. So were we, she replied. Suddenly a shot rang out. Vela cried out and fell to her knees. The guards turned sharply. One shouted something in a strange language. Evan looked back. The priest stood on a hill, the black weapon smoking in his hands. Witch! He screamed. Liar! Enemy of Earth! The guards raised their weapons. But Vela held up a hand. No. She gasped. No killing! She looked at Evan, her side bleeding, but her voice steady. Show them! We are not monsters. Evan stood between her and the priest. You won't hurt her again. She fooled you, the priest shouted. You'll destroy us all. No, Evan shouted back. You're doing that already, with fear. Fee. Crowd arrived, many carrying tools or torches, but stopped when they saw the scene. Vela bleeding, the priest screaming, and Evan, unarmed, defending her again. Old Rhyme stepped forward. No more, he said. No more fire, no more hate. Others slowly dropped their weapons. The priest raised the gun again, but a sharp blast of light struck it, knocking it from his hand. One of Viola's guards had acted. Quick and clean. No, one was hurt. But the message was clear. The priest ran. He was never seen again. Evan helped Viola up. Her blood shimmered gold. But she smiled. I'll live, she said. Thanks to you. The villagers came closer, silent and unsure. Vela looked at them. I forgive you, all of you. If we are to live together, we must stop fearing each other. Someone stepped forward, a girl. She placed a flower at Vela's feet. Others followed, a sign of peace, a new beginning. That night, the ship returned. Vela walked with Evan to the beam of light. Will you come with me this time? She asked. Evan looked at the village. Then, the stars. Yes, he said. They rose together side by side toward the stars. The village watched silently. This time, there was no shouting, no fire, only hope. The ship carried Evan high above Earth, through clouds and into the stars. For the first time, he saw his world from space, small, blue, and beautiful. He stood near a wide viewing window beside Viola, who now wore a new uniform, silver with deep violet lines that glowed softly. Her injury had been treated with alien medicine. The golden wound on her side had nearly vanished. Evan still couldn't believe it. Only weeks ago, she was a witch hiding in the woods. Now she stood tall, as a princess of the stars again, and he, just a mechanic from a forgotten village, was beside her. She turned to him with a soft smile. Welcome to the Seraphim Dawn, he blinked. Your ship? My flagship, she said. It once led a fleet. Now it leads only hope. The crew of the ship was different from what Evan expected. They weren't all aliens. Some were human-looking. Others had scales, feathers, or glowing eyes. But all treated Viola with deep respect, and they treated Evan kindly too. He is the one who protected our princess, Viola told them. Without him, I would not be here. Evan was given his own quarters, clean, warm, filled with strange machines he didn't understand. Still, he didn't feel out of place. He explored the halls, watched the stars through long glass windows, and listened to languages spoken through soft translators. It was another world, but one where curiosity wasn't punished. In the command center, Viola spoke with her council. The rebels who took my throne still control the capital, she said. But news of my survival is spreading. We must act before they silence that news forever. Many are waiting for your return, said a tall woman with blue skin and silver armor. But they also fear war. There won't be war, Viola said firmly. We will bring peace with truth and unity. I will not become what they are. Another officer spoke. What about Earth? Vela glanced at Evan, who stood beside her. Earth is forgotten by most, she said, but it is a symbol, a world, once great, now broken. If we help them rise, others may follow. Evan stepped forward. My people don't trust easily, but they're not blind. They just need a reason to believe again. Vila looked proud. Then we'll give them one. 3 days later, Vila stood before a massive communication crystal in the ship's core. A glowing ring of energy spun slowly above it. She raised her voice. To all free systems of the Serix Empire, to all who still believe in peace, this is Princess Vela, rightful heir. I am alive. The message echoed through the stars. Dozens of planets would hear it. Hidden bases, forgotten colonies. I was betrayed by those who feared unity, she said. But I escaped. I survived. And now I return, with hope, not revenge. She looked into the crystal. If you still believe in the dream we shared, join me. The signal ended. Later, in her quarters, Vela sat beside Evan. You looked like a queen, he said. I was shaking inside, she smiled. But thank you. He looked at the stars. What happens now? Others will respond, she said. Allies, friends. Some will come to fight, some to talk, some to spy. You trust them? I trust truth, she said. And truth always shows itself, sooner or later. She stood. Come, I want to show you something. She led him to the lower deck, a hidden chamber with no guards. The doors opened with a soft hiss. Inside stood something tall and metallic, like a statue, but alive with light. Evan stepped closer. What is it? Vila touched the base. It's called a core mind, an ancient memory vault. It holds secrets of old Earth, when your people first left for the stars. Evan's eyes widened. You have our history? She nodded. We never erased it, only buried it, to protect it from war. A soft voice spoke from the core mind. Human detected. Language mode, Earthroot English. Welcome, child of Terra. Evan stepped back in shock. It knows me? It knows all your kind, Vela said. You were never truly forgotten. Evan listened as the core mind began showing images. Earth cities glowing at night, human ships flying across stars, human leaders shaking hands with alien diplomats. Tears filled his eyes. We were everywhere. You still can be, Vela said gently. Help me show the galaxy what humans truly are. Not witches, not savages, but builders of peace. Evan nodded. I will. Days passed. Allies began to answer Vela's call. Small ships joined hers, some sleek and bright, others old and scarred. Each brought messengers, soldiers, and stories. On the bridge, Vila watched them arrive. The tide is turning, one officer said, but news also came of the rebel council. They had learned of Vela's survival. They called her a fraud, a puppet of old ideals. They fear you, Evan said. Then they should listen, Vila replied, before fear leads them to ruin. One night, Evan was alone in his room when the communicator beeped. It was a private message from Earth. He opened it. A grainy image appeared. Old rhyme. Evan, he said. The people are listening now. Your village is changing. They've started building again, fixing the tower you once touched. He smiled. They want to see the stars. Evan felt his chest tighten. Vela entered the room. Good news? Yes, he said. The first. Good news in a long time. Later, a large meeting was held in the Star Hall, a wide chamber with floating platforms where leaders and voices gathered. Vela stood at the center, Evan beside her. She addressed them all. I am not here to rule with power, she said. I'm here to lead with purpose. War has burned too many worlds. Fear has broken too many bonds. Let us not become what we once fought. Many nodded. Some clapped. A few watched silently. Then she turned to Evan. He stepped forward, nervous. "I come from Earth," he said. "A world most of you forgot. But we're still alive. We're still human. And we still hope." He pointed toward the stars. "We were part of this once. We can be again. If you'll let us." There was silence, then applause. That night, Vela and Evan stood on the bridge once more. Stars shimmered beyond the glass. "You spoke well," Vela said. "I was terrified," she laughed. "You didn't show it." He looked at her. "Do you think the galaxy will accept us?" "I know they will," she said. "Because they've accepted me again." She touched his hand. "And because they trust you." Evan felt her warmth. He thought of the village, the forest, the girl hiding, near a stream. So much had changed, yet some things remained. Suddenly an alert sounded. "Enemy fleet approaching," an officer said. "Rebel ships." Viola stood straight. "How many?" "5. Small. Likely scouts." Viola turned to Evan. "You asked. What happens next?" "Yes." "We show them who we are," she said. The ship turned. Lights came on. The princess had risen, and she would not kneel again. The alien ship floated silently above the forest, its hull shining like liquid silver under the stars. The villagers stood frozen, watching in awe and fear. Some thought it was a god's chariot. Others believed it was the end of days. But Evan knew the truth. It was hope. Inside the village square, Viola stood tall. Her alien armor shimmered with a soft blue light. Her silver hair moved slightly in the wind, and the royal sigil on her chest glowed like a star. Around her stood her royal guards, tall, powerful beings in smooth, dark armor. They said nothing. They only watched. The village elders had gathered, shaking with fear. What are you?" one of them asked, his voice trembling. Vela looked at them kindly. "I am not your enemy," she said. "I am Princess Vela of the House of Serenia, ruler of the Andarian star cluster. I came to your world by accident, but I learned something important here. I learned the strength of humans." She turned to Evan, who stood beside her proudly. He was no longer just a farm boy. He was now a friend to royalty, and Earth's first voice in the stars. A divided village. Some villagers knelt before Viola, thinking she was a goddess. Others turned and ran into the woods, too scared to believe what they saw. But the elder who had once called her a witch stepped forward. We were wrong," he whispered. "We feared what we did not understand." Evan stepped beside him. "Fear made us blind," he said, "but now we can choose to be better. She saved us, even after we tried to burn her." Viola gave a small smile. "Your world has suffered. I see that now. But your people are strong. Your history is full of courage." Suddenly, a new figure stepped from the ship. He was taller than any human, with golden armor and a long cape. His face had the same glow as Viola's, smooth, noble, alien. He bowed deeply. "Princess, your throne awaits," he said. "The rebellion has been pushed back. Your allies gather once more." Evan looked at her. "You're going back to your people?" "Yes," she said softly, "but I want you to come with me." Leaving Earth Even looked around. His village, his home, the trees, the soil, the river where he fished as a child. Everything he knew. "I've never been beyond the clouds," he said. Vela held out her hand. "Then come with me. See the stars. Learn what your world has forgotten." Evan thought for a moment. He remembered the stories the old man told him in jail, the truth about Earth's betrayal during the war. Earth was not weak. Earth was left behind. Now he had a chance to bring it back. He nodded. "I'll go." The villagers watched silently as Evan and Viola walked up the glowing ramp into the alien ship. A soft hum filled the air. Lights blinked across the hull, and then, with a gentle rise, the ship lifted from the earth. Among the stars, Evan stood at the window of the ship, watching Earth shrink behind them. It looked small now, beautiful, blue, but lonely. Vela stood beside him. "This is just the beginning," she said. "Your world will rise again." They moved through space faster than light. Stars turned into lines. Evan saw planets, moons, gas clouds, even alien trade ships in the distance. They arrived at the Star Citadel, a massive space station shaped like a blooming flower, floating at the edge of a golden nebula. Hundreds of alien ships surrounded it. Inside, thousands of beings from different species walked the polished halls. Some had wings, others floated. Some were made of energy, but they all turned to look when Vela entered. "Princess Vela of Serenia has returned," a voice echoed. Evan followed her nervously. Everyone bowed. The guards saluted. It was like something out of a dream. The Galactic Council Vela was taken to the Grand Chamber. Inside, a circular table floated in the air. Around it sat the leaders of different star systems. One of them, a lizard-like creature with deep red eyes, spoke first. "Your Highness, we feared you were lost. I survived," she said calmly, "and I bring news from Earth." The chamber went silent. "Earth?" another alien said. "That world is primitive, abandoned. The humans fell after the war." Viola raised her hand. No, they were left behind, not defeated. They were betrayed by both sides, but they endured. She turned to Evan. "This is Evan. He is the first human to stand here in 100 years. Let him speak." Evan stepped forward, his heart beating fast. All eyes were on him. "I don't know much about politics," he said honestly, "but I know my people. We're not weak. We're not broken. We just forgot who we are, but we survived storms, wars, darkness, and we're still here." He paused. "Earth deserves a place at this table, not because of its past, but because of its future." There was a long silence. Then, slowly, the council began to nod. Rebuilding the connection over the next weeks, Viola helped restore Earth's old codes and identification to the galactic system. Trade routes were opened again. Messages were sent to old Earth colonies in deep space. Some were still alive, some were thriving, and they responded. Evan sat beside Vela as human colonies began to reach out again. Old flags were raised. Scientists sent blueprints. Engineers arrived on Earth to help repair satellites and launch new ones. Soon, Earth's skies were full of life again. The villagers, once scared of stars, now watched shuttles land near the forest. Children no longer feared witches. They dreamed of becoming pilots and explorers. The elder who once wanted to burn Viola now built a school with alien books and human history side by side. A gift to humanity before leaving Earth again, Viola gave Evan's village a parting gift: a fusion core, enough energy to power the whole valley for hundreds of years. She also gave them a communication console, allowing them to speak with her or the Galactic Council whenever needed. "You are no longer alone," she said to the people. Evan hugged his family, his friends, and told them, "We're part of something bigger now. Don't forget that." He boarded the ship again. Now an ambassador of Earth, a promise among the stars back in space, Evan and Vela stood side by side at the observation deck, watching a new Earth satellite blink alive. "What will happen now?" Evan asked. "We bring balance," she said. "We bring peace, and Earth will help guide it." He smiled. "From burning witches to building starships? My people sure have changed." Viola laughed. "You saved me, Evan, and in doing so, you saved your world too." They stood together in silence for a moment, watching the stars, and then the ship turned toward the next system, ready for their next mission. Together.